Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Bienvenidos para atrás en mi canal. So, I've been getting a lot of questions on how to achieve certain steps of doing your foundation. I know there's a lot of beginners and not everybody really knows how to achieve a full face of makeup, especially when you're just starting off on doing your makeup. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to do a little series, and each video I'm going to talk about a different step of doing your makeup. So this first video that I'm doing for you guys today, we're going to talk about applying your foundation and having a clean base for you to have a flawless full coverage face. And I'm also going to talk about different types of foundations and what accomplishes what. So if you're interested in watching that, please keep on watching. There's different types of foundations out there. You have your BB creams, and then you have your full coverage foundations, and then you obviously have your medium coverage foundations. I tend to go for a medium to full coverage foundation. I think that's what works best for my skin and what complements me the most. But let me show you a couple of my favorites and what I tend to lean towards. Okay, so I'm going to start off by least coverage to full coverage. The least amount of coverage, I go for a BB cream, and my favorite is the Maybelline New York Dream BB Fresh and the color 110 Light. This is my favorite BB cream. When I'm on the go and I have to leave the house like right away, but I don't want to leave the house without anything on at all, I'll go ahead and put this on. When you put it on, it feels like super light. It almost feels like a moisturizer in a way, and I'll apply a quick powder, a little bit of blush, mascara, and let's go. This is what I use this for. Another good one that I would go for is the Dose of Colors Meet Your Hue. This is medium to full coverage. I would say this is definitely buildable. This has been my go-to for a while now. It works really nice, and it looks really nice in the skin. If you see my last two videos, you'll see that I was using this one, and it looks really pretty on, and this is what I'm going to be using today. But I'm going to show you two more. Also use the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. I would say this is definitely full coverage. So if you're going to be out all night and stuff and you want a matte full coverage base, go ahead and reach for this. The last one I'm going to show you guys is the MAC Studio Fix foundation. Everybody knows what this is. I bet if you've worn makeup, this is probably one of the first foundations you ever bought. I used to wear this all the time before I got into Dose of Colors and Too Faced. But yeah, definitely a really good foundation. Okay, so vamos a empezar. Let's go ahead and get started. So first of all, the most important part is start off with a clean, fresh base. If you don't, that's when you start to get a lot of dry patches, and you start to get really oily, and your foundation doesn't last all day, and it just doesn't look good. So I recommend you start with a really good moisturizer. I already moisturized my face, but I recommend the Neutrogena Hydro Boost moisturizer. I put that all over the face. After that, I'm going to go ahead and use the Neutrogena Hydrating Setting Spray. You let that soak in the skin. And I'm going to use the Mario Badescu Rose Water. Okay, so the way you put your foundation on is you can either use your fingers, you can use a brush, or you can use a beauty blender. I'm not a fan of using my fingers, but I know a ton of people that do. And I'm definitely not a fan of using brushes. For me, if you use a brush for foundation, you're a wizard. I always get streaks. It looks awkward. Just don't like it. When I do people's makeup, I even use the little disposable makeup wedge sponges, just because I always feel like a beauty blender sponge just blends the makeup better. I don't care what anyone says. That's just my personal opinion. But a good makeup brush, I guess I would recommend the Morphe M439 brush. And for beauty blenders, I definitely recommend the Dose of Colors beauty blender. If you're on a budget or just don't want to wait, to get it online, I would go ahead and get the Real Techniques orange. It's like an orange beauty blender. They sell them at the drugstore, get them at Walmart. They cost like, I want to say $5 or so, but that one also works really well. Another good one I would say is the Morphe Beauty Blender. That one works just as good. I strongly recommend you prime your face. I use a Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. I think this works really good. It's good for all skin types. I have primers out there, but that's what I recommend. So what I do is I put it in my nose as such. I do the leftovers right in my chin, and I put the rest on my forehead. I'm going to use the Meet Your Hue Dose of Colors foundation in the shade 107 Fair. So I'm going to grab it, pump some in my finger. What I like to do is I do 3 dots on my cheek, and then I do another 3 over here. I pump some in my chin, some on my nose, and a line on my forehead. Any leftover, I go ahead and just put it right there. So after that, you get your beauty blender. So what you do is you want the bottom part of your beauty blender, and you're going to dab that on your skin as such. Just up and down, and that's going to allow your foundation to start blending. And you're going to do that on your whole skin until everything's really blended out. After you're done blending your foundation, this is what it should look like. It should be nice and fully covered. No se olviden los ojos. Pero yeah, you're just gonna blend it and asegurarte que todo esté bien mezclado en la piel. Like everything's mixed really well on the skin, and it just gives it a really nice base. But it's not hard, you guys. Just don't overthink it. The quicker you do it, the better. That way you just get it over with. I'm going to go ahead and go in my concealer. When it comes to concealers, you can just get one from the drugstore. So what I do with this is I just swipe it under my eyes as such. And again, you're going to grab your beauty blender and you're just going to blend out the concealer into your foundation. So by doing that, you get the little tip of the beauty blender and you just start blending. So what I do is I start from here, from adentro del ojo, like inside the eye right here, and I bring it out. So de aquí para acá. Just like that. And you do it with the other side of your face too. What it should look like. When it comes to your foundation, you're going to get the foundation that matches your skin the best. But when it comes to your concealer, you will want to do at least, I would say 2 shades lighter, because you want your eyes to stand out more. So that's what I do with my concealers, and that's why, as you can see, my foundation isn't matching my concealer. When you blend everything out, it just gives it it just brightens up your face a lot more. So that's why it looks a little crazy. Like I said earlier, you just need to trust the process. I'm going to contour my face. You can contour your face in many ways. You can use creams or you can use powders. My preference is powders. I feel like it's a lot faster and it's a lot easier, especially for beginners, especially when you're on the go too. When it comes to creams do take longer because you have to do a lot of blending. I would leave creams for special occasions, but again, I guess that's just a preference thing, but I prefer powder bronzers, and like I said, it's just a lot easier and faster. So what I do here is I use the Hoola Benefit bronzer, and I'm gonna go ahead and get a Wet n Wild brush. This is my favorite for a bronzer. I'm gonna dip it in there. So what I do is I squeeze in my cheeks like that, and then I just follow the contour line from my ear down to my to not exactly the end of my lip, but I would say like right here in my apple on my cheek. So from here to here, and then I blend it out. So after the cheeks, we're gonna do the forehead and the temples of your face. For my nose, I like to use the e.l.f. angle contour brush. It looks like this. Dip it into the same bronzer. Start from your eyebrow right here, and you're gonna just draw a straight line down. Again, on this side from here, and a straight line down. And just like this. Don't overthink it. 1, 2, 3, yeah. Let's move on to baking the under eye and setting the foundation. Okay, so when it comes to setting the under eyes, there's a ton of baking powders out there. But my favorite so far has been the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder and the color Fair 05. So what I do, I grab it, and this is a really loose powder. Like, I hope you guys can see that. But what this does is it'll bake your under eye concealer, so it just stays there all day and it doesn't move. I have my beauty blender again, and I'm gonna blend out any lines that formed because, you know, obviously I've taken a while to set this. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Now I'm gonna go in on the baking powder as like this, and you're gonna grab your beauty blender full of this, and you're gonna go from here and out. The same motion you did when you were putting on your foundation. So inside the eye, out. So de aquí pa acá, de aquí pa acá, just like that. After that, I'm gonna grab my MAC Light Plus Mineralized Skin Finish with this, and I'll just wipe off all the excess powder. I don't like to leave this on too long. Honestly, it's just personal preference, but it's up to you guys how long you want to bake for. I like to just take it off right away. For the sake of this video, because I'm recording, it did take me a little longer than usual, but as soon as I put it on, I tend to just wipe it off. That, you're just gonna set the rest of your face like such. I'm just gonna put this all over. So after powder, this is what your base should look like. It's honestly shouldn't really take you that long. For me, this takes me about 10 minutes. But obviously when you're a beginner, it might take you a little longer, but practice makes perfect. Okay, so when it comes to blushes, you can use any blush you want. Again, my favorite is the Patrick Star MAC Duo. It's like, it looks like this. It's called I'm Not Blushing. This was limited edition, so it's not like you just go out and buy a new one. I don't really have many blushes because I've been using this and I want to hit pan before I buy a new one. But I know Wet n Wild has a lot of pretty ones. Elf has a lot of pretty ones. Maybelline, L'Oreal, any drugstore blush works out. It just depends on your preference and what you like. Just like that. It's that simple. Okay, you guys, so this is pretty much the base of your foundation. This is what's gonna start off your makeup look. After this, we would go ahead and do our eyebrows, and then we would do our eyes, and then our lips. So this is the end of this video. I'm gonna go ahead and finish my face off camera and be back, and then I'll tell you guys what we're gonna do on our next video. So this is what I decided to go for after doing my base, my foundation, bronzer, powder, and everything. So remember, you guys, when it comes to foundations, you don't have to use a specific one. You don't have to use what I use. You use what is best for your skin and your preferences. I would go ahead and, if you're a beginner, go to the drugstore. Just buy a foundation. Match it to your neck. Make sure you like it. You can also go to like Sephora or MAC, and they'll do it for you, and they'll give you little samples. You can even go to Macy's. I know Nordstrom, and on the makeup counters, they'll give you little samples of foundations. Go ahead and get those samples and try out different foundations to see what you like and what works best for your skin. Same with powders. When it comes to powders, you just match it to your foundation. And when it comes to concealer, remember, just go a couple shades lighter. And when it comes to primers, there's so many kinds of primers, and honestly, if you want, you don't even have to use a primer. It really just comes down to personal preference and what works best for your skin. What works for me might not work for you, and the steps I take might not be the steps that you might take, but this is just what I like to do. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you on the next one. On my next video, I'm gonna go ahead and teach you guys how to do your eyebrows. We're gonna sculpt out a really nice eyebrow. I tend to just use mascara gel, but for the sake of the video, I am gonna fill in my eyebrows with the pomade, and I'm gonna carve out the eyebrow so you guys learn how to do that, especially if you're a beginner. We're gonna do a step-by-step. After that, I'm gonna teach you guys how to do a perfect lip. And then after that, I'll teach you guys how to do a really nice perfect liner. And then after that, we can talk about mascaras. And then I'll also do one where how to apply lashes to make them last all day and they don't fall out. I have a really nice neat tip for that, especially putting them in other people. But yeah, I'll make this a little series on how-tos for different things. We did this one on foundations. If you enjoyed this video, and please comment, like, subscribe, and share the video. It'll help a lot. We're almost at 500 subscribers. Sorry que no estoy hablando todo en español y no estoy hablando todo en inglés. I'm kind of trying to do both para que todos entiendan bien. Hablo mucho Spanglish, so ojalá no sea un problema para ustedes. Pero yeah, I hope you guys love this video. I hope you guys are enjoying my content. If you guys want to see anything else, go ahead and go ahead and comment down below. It helps a lot for me to know what you guys want to see. So yeah, like I said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye!